high gear again. Bounce back to throw, completes it to Joyner.
Come on, defense, let's make a stand right here.
Touchdown, Lionel James! Humphries under pressure, throws, caught!
And pass is deflected and intercepted.
What a run by what a runner!
Over the goal line, touchdown, San Diego!
Balboa Park on a beautiful 75-degree San Diego night, as tonight the Chargers back at the Q for the first time here in this 2016 NFL preseason, and we have it for you, the Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals. Hi everyone, welcome to the CBS broadcast booth alongside former Chargers great NFL Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. I'm Spiro Ditas. The major headline around this Chargers team continues to be the impasse between Joey Bosa, the third overall pick, and the Chargers front office. The latest bit of news has the two sides, Dan, talking, and that by far the most encouraging news they've had in about a month.
Well, if you're going to negotiate, you got to talk. And when you talk, then there's a chance for a compromise of some type. And obviously the Chargers need Bosa. He needs to get into camp, but to get that valuable experience. In his stead, though, we'll see Darius Philon tonight, and Philon had an outstanding game against the Titans last week, stopping Derrick Henry there with a tackle for a loss, and Philon will be a very valuable player for the Chargers when Bosa is out because he can play a number of positions.
Philon played well defensively on the other side of the ball. Maybe the biggest takeaway last week from the loss in Nashville, the play of the running game and Melvin Gordon, and the offensive line last week not at full strength. Orlando Franklin, who missed a bunch of games last year, didn't play. He makes his return tonight, our first glimpse of what this line will look like.
Well, continuity is so important along that offensive line. With Franklin lining up at left guard, he'll be next to King Dunlap, and that is news. Last year, the two of them played only 6 games together. Charger run game needs the offensive line to get as much game experience as they possibly can. We'll see the ones tonight for the entire first half.
Nice to be back at the Q as the Chargers take the field for their NFL 2016 preseason home opener. Chargers and the Cardinals coming up. Starting lineups in the opening kick, and Heather Myers with a conversation with Mike McCoy. Preseason game 2 of 4 as we welcome you back to the Q. Chargers and the Cardinals. A short time ago, our Heather Myers caught up with Chargers head coach Mike McCoy.
All right, Coach, second preseason game under Friday Night Lights. What specifically are you looking for tonight?
I'm just looking for each individual to improve from last week and what they've done through training camp. And, you know, we've talked about in each phase, offense, defense, and the kicking game, and what we want to improve on. So that's the key. Talk
about being out here and the pressure that some of these players are under as they know that cuts are coming very soon.
Well, this is their job, and everything they're doing is being evaluated. We've talked about it the whole entire offseason, so it's another opportunity for a lot of players to play. You know, last week, you can never take the film away, and you kind of talk to them all off season about, hey, your time's coming, so make sure you make the most of every rep. Don't count the reps, make the reps count.
Lots of FaceTime against the Cardinals, and we'll see it in action again tonight. Coach, thanks. Have a great game.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, there's Phillip Rivers in uniform, but will be a spectator tonight. This was the plan going into camp. Head coach Mike McCoy having advanced discussions with Rivers about what his schedule would be during the preseason. They elected that this would be his night off, so Kellen Clemens will make the start. Cardinals won the toss. They elect to receive. As we are just about ready, these two teams held 2 joint practice sessions this week. One was public Tuesday here at the Q, and then Wednesday night had private session at Chargers Park. And Mike McCoy, Dan, said it was very helpful for both teams as you see Carson Palmer getting ready.
Palmer will play quite a bit tonight, at least in the first half for Bruce Arians, and we want to wish Bruce the very best of good health. He had a battle with diverticulitis earlier this week. He was in the hospital. He's out, and he's ready to coach as usual.
Arians spent the night on Tuesday in a hospital here in San Diego, but was back with the team on Wednesday, a spectator at that second joint practice session at Chargers Park. That is Andre Ellington, 19 yards on the return. And here comes Carson Palmer, whose late career renaissance continued. What a campaign he had last year, rewriting the Cardinals quarterbacking records at the ripe old age of 36, led them to within 1 win of a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, the Del Mar, California resident, 4,671 yards and 35 touchdown passes. We won't see his targets like Larry Fitzgerald and John Brown tonight, but he's got plenty of other weapons.
Fitzgerald given the night off just as a precaution. as they make their first play, 1st and 10. And Palmer wrapped up and sacked. Well, nearly sacked. So Palmer, a little trickery. Looked like he was on his way down, and that is an incomplete pass. This little escape job by Palmer.
I'm surprised that Carl Cheffers didn't call him in the grasp and blow this play dead right about here. But a great job of staying alive as he'll pull away from Brandon Mebane, the Chargers' recent acquisition out of Seattle. Pretty good play for an experienced quarterback, huh? I'm not going to say his age, though. Too much respect for Carson.
Well, that's a good start for the Chargers defensive line, a maligned group. Of course, one still awaiting the arrival of their 3rd overall pick, Joey Bosa. There's a little quick pass far side of the field. That's Michael Floyd, one of the top targets from a year ago, 5th NFL season, their former 1st-round pick. They pick up a couple along that far sideline. Here is the starting offensive unit for Arizona, a team that led the league in NFL last season before they imploded in that NFC title game against Carolina. Mike Iupati returns, the 4-time NFL Pro Bowler, in his 7th NFL season. 3rd and 8. Palmer works from the gun as they snap it just outside the 23. Palmer has time to throw. He's going to take his shot. Has his man, Floyd, the intended receiver, and an excellent recovery right at the last instant. Casey Hayward, one of the offseason free agent acquisitions by Tom Telesco and the Chargers, coming over from Green Bay. Very few teams take as many shots down the field as Arizona does. Chargers were there.
Well, this ball's slightly underthrown, as you can see that Floyd has to reach back for it, but really good catch-up speed by Casey Hayward that time, and he stripped the ball away from Floyd as they were both going to the ground.
So Arizona sends out their punt team on 4th down. And this, of course, was an area in which the Chargers really struggled last season. This is Travis Benjamin making his San Diego Chargers debut. Benjamin missing a couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. 42-yard punt and 0 on the return. That was a familiar refrain for the Chargers last season. Here comes Kellen Clemens making the preseason start tonight. Philip Rivers, again, if you've just joined us, is being held out just as a precautionary night off. Clemens, the Oregon native, 11th NFL season, and Rivers back up the last couple of years.
You know, I think Travis Benjamin was just happy to make that catch. He was looking dead into the sun and had no idea where the defenders were coming to tackle him, so he secured the catch and went down.
Clemens has been Rivers' number 2 since 2014. 21 career starts under his belt. This is Melvin Gordon, the 15th overall pick from a year ago. Gordon had that long catch and run for 6 in the loss in Tennessee last week. 12 yards on the run and a 1st down for San Diego.
Yeah, running along that left side behind Franklin and Dunlap, but a good job of seeing the outside and then the burst to get around the corner. Good sign for the Chargers on 1st down to get nearly out to the 50-yard line.
Hard to believe it's been only 7.5 months since Gordon had that microfracture knee surgery, such a devastating procedure for so many professional athletes across multiple sports. But Gordon looking as good as certainly he's looked since being taken 15th overall in that draft a year ago. On 1st and 10, they pick up about 3 as Gordon crosses midfield and into Arizona territory. Let's take a look at tonight's San Diego County Toyota dealers starting lineups. Mentioned the preseason debut this season for Orlando Franklin. Had a lower leg injury that kept him out of the game in Tennessee last week. And as Dan mentioned in the open, Franklin and King Dunlap last year, with all the injuries to their offensive line, played just 6 games together. And so this the first time we are seeing the projected starting offensive line, which of course includes the newcomer Matt Slauson. That pass over the middle is incomplete. And what a hit on that play. As that pass falls incomplete, it was Deion Buchanan, their rookie, laying a smack on Dontrell Inman.
Well, he led with his shoulder right to the face mask. That's what popped the helmet off. That could have been called a unnecessary roughness going to the head of the receiver, defenseless receiver at that.
You don't see those kinds of vicious hits in the NFL preseason, but Buchanan, First-round pick a couple of years ago back in 2014. Now his third NFL season, I beg your pardon. 3rd and 7, and Clemens going nowhere. That's Josh Morrow dumping Clemens for a loss of 3. Morrow, the third-year man out of Stanford and a former undrafted free agent.
Yeah, number 97 picking up his second sack of the preseason that time. So after a good run on first down by Melvin Gordon, the Chargers incomplete, and then a sack of Kellen Clemens. And that'll bring out the punt team. Not a good sign for the pass protection for Clemens on that play.
Chargers sent out the punt team. This is Drew Kaiser, their rookie, 6th-round pick out of Texas A&M, who was really impressed during training camp in the preseason, and given the job by Mike McCoy because of that. Market throwing a delay of game. This would be against the Chargers. Our referee tonight is Carl Cheffers.
And a little bit of an oddity, we have 8 officials tonight, 2 back judges who are standing right about the goal line now, and one of them keeps the time. Time ran out on the Chargers. Back them up 5. Penalties really hurt the Chargers last week against Tennessee too.
Kaiser, the first Chargers punter not named Mike Cypher since 2003. Anything a long era here, and this is what has gotten the attention of Mike McCoy and the special teams coaches here. A perfectly placed punt by the rookie Kaiser, 56 yards, and they will pin Arizona deep into their own territory when we come back. Well, this was a conversation between Mike McCoy and the officiating staff here. McCoy wanting an explanation, Dan, for that last penalty flag that was thrown a couple of moments ago.
Or the one that wasn't thrown.
That's right.
They hit on by Buchanan on Inman that knocked Inman's helmet right off the top of his head.
There's so much talk about player safety in the NFL. You rarely see those kinds of vicious hits go unpenalized, but a clean play according to the officials. So Carson Palmer back on the field, second possession. And that is the running back David Johnson, who burst onto the scene a year ago, barely able to get out of the end zone and avoid a potential safety on the play. Here are the San Diego starters defense. Denzel Perryman on that last stop. We mentioned Phylon and Brandon Mebane, their heralded offseason acquisition that they hope will help clog up that very porous run defense from a year ago. Mebane coming over from Seattle. 10 years in the NFL. What a career he's had as they try to shore up that run defense. David Johnson, the second-year runner, the lone setback. This is Palmer from his own end zone on 2nd and 10. Short pass over the middle is complete to Johnson. Pick up only 3. Denzel Perryman, who missed about a couple of weeks, Dan, with injuries in training camp. He is back for his second season out of Miami.
That's 2 good plays in a row now for Perryman. He almost got the runner in the backfield on first down. That would have been a safety, and he closed quickly on that pass play and held the Cardinals to a short gain, bringing up a 3rd and long, way backed up for Palmer.
Third and 7. Palmer has time, gets his feet set, and that high pass is caught. What a play by Jaron Brown, the 4th-year receiver out of Clemson. First down pickup of 23 yards from Carson Palmer.
A tremendous adjustment to this pass, and it's a good pass because it's thrown away from the defense, high and away. And look how he goes up at 6'2" over the top of the defender, and that's Flowers. Great concentration on that pass.
See Brown's numbers from a year ago, 1st and 10. As they work now from their own 28. Palmer gives to Johnson. What a rookie season this kid had last year. Dan burst onto the scene. Cardinals rookie record, 13 touchdowns to go along with more than 1,600 all-purpose yards, and really a triple threat at that running back position.
Had a good game last week too, with just 3 carries, but he turned them into 31 yards. So they're loaded in the backfield. Don't forget they got Chris Johnson still and Andre Ellington.
So many weapons. One of the reasons why, as we mentioned earlier, Arizona had the #1 rated offense in the NFL last season. 2nd and 5. That pass is intercepted. Brandon Flowers taking it to the house. And San Diego takes the first lead of the night.
Now John Pagano calling the corner blitz. And Flowers does a great job of reading the eyes of Palmer, getting up in the air and making this catch. Watch from left side of the screen. After a poor fake by Palmer, there is Flowers on the blitz, the pick, and the score. Oh, and as soon as Palmer threw it, he knew that Flowers was between him and the receiver. Heck of a play by Flowers, especially after getting beat on that catch by Jerron Brown earlier.
Well, Flowers, such a maligned player last season, really took a step back, called it his worst season in the NFL. As Josh Lambo's point after is good, Flowers says he's in the best shape of his NFL career. And right there makes the biggest defensive play of this preseason for the Chargers. Interception returned by Brandon Flowers, back for his 3rd season as a Charger, hoping to bounce back from the disappointment of last year.
And only one quarterback in the NFL has thrown more pick sixes than Carson Palmer, and that's former Charger Drew Brees. And we'll see Brees in the regular season here at the Q. And that'll be a great battle between the Saints led by Brees and the Chargers led by Rivers.
Well, Brandon Flowers talking about what a terrible year he had last year. Says he was about 10 to 12 pounds overweight. And so he conferred with his teammate Melvin Ingram, who of course is in such phenomenal physical shape. And Ingram, Dan, put him in touch with his trainer down in Miami. Flowers went, worked out with him during the offseason, and says that this is by far the best that he has felt physically. And everyone you talk to in Chargers camp watching him in practice says that this is the best he's ever looked.
Well, when you say a guy that's only 5'9" is 10 to 12 pounds overweight, that's serious. And for him to knock that weight off and get in shape just shows you that he's ready for a big year.
New touchback rule, of course, in the NFL puts the ball at the 25-yard line on touchbacks. As you see Flower catching the blow, well-deserved rest on that sideline. This is Johnson again on 1st and 10. That's a good-looking play. The Chargers run defense and had such issues last year. 27th against the run a year ago, and they allowed 288 yards on the ground, all being the preseason game last week in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a bigger improvement there for the Chargers. Good job that time as looked like Casey Hayward came up there to force, and the pursuit brought down Johnson.
Some of the local media here talking during the week that, granted, it was a lot of yards to give up, but it was a preseason game. Much of that coming against the 2nd and 3rd stringers. Mike McCoy said, well, wait a minute, a lot of those number 2s are going to be playing pretty good snaps for us this season, have to play better. That pass nearly picked again. That's Jason Verrett, the first-time Pro Bowler from a year ago. And that is the kind of break on the football that has made him so impressive. Michael Floyd, the intended receiver.
If he makes his catch, he may be in the end zone, because there's nobody in front of him. Right on his back, though, is Michael Floyd. Good break on the ball by Verrett.
Verrett last season led the Chargers 3 picks. Also led them in passes defensed. An emerging NFL defensive star. This is 3rd and 10. Palmer from the gun from the 25. Palmer has time, goes underneath. This is Chris Johnson, who was well on his way to a 1,000-yard season last year before injuries ended his campaign. Tackled by Dwight Lowry, the safety, and Arizona will punt.
A lot of 3rd and longs forced by the Chargers. They've forced the Cardinals in for 3rd and 8, a 3rd and 7. That time it was a 3rd and 10. Stopping the Cardinals again and bringing out the punt team.
Drew Butler, their 4th-year punter out of Georgia, on to boot it away, and Travis Benjamin will play it from the 10. Benjamin, 6th most punt return yards in the NFL last season, had nearly 400. The Chargers as a team had 84, fewest in the NFL since 1981. 56 yards on the punt, 7-0 Chargers. With you at the Q, 7-0 San Diego. Let's get you tonight's keys to the game, presented by the San Diego County Chevrolet dealers. Dan, what do you have?
Well, Melvin Gordon, with the help of the offensive lines, needs to build on the solid game he had last week against Tennessee, make touchdowns a habit. And in the impasse, both sides need to compromise and get Bosa in camp, especially after giving up nearly 300 yards rushing last week against the Titans.
1st and 10. This is Danny Woodhead on his first take of the night. Picks up 3. Just to get back to the Joey Bosa situation, as we updated you at the top, the report this week has the two sides engaging in contract negotiations. First time they've talked since July the 28th. Very little detail, Dan, has been put out in terms of what the progress has been, and for a lot of people, at least close to the organization, that seems to be a very encouraging sign.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing in any type of negotiation that can't be worked out, especially when both of the sides need each other.
Where does Clemens go here? High pass is caught. That's Keenan Allen, the Chargers star wide receiver, 13 yards. Tackled by Brandon Williams, the rookie 3rd-round pick out of Texas A&M. And Allen talking about players who are poised for a breakout season, certainly at the top of the list.
Yeah, really a good adjustment to this ball, too. And again, a quarterback knowing where his receivers in relation to the defender. Put the ball up high for Allen because Brandon Williams, the rookie, never could locate the ball.
Allen 700 receiving yards in 8 games last year, before going down with that lacerated kidney that ended his season in Week 8 in Baltimore. Melvin Gordon going east-west, brought down by Chandler Jones, the very heralded player coming over in free agency, or trade rather, from New England.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting his comment earlier this year, thanking Bill Belichick for not trading him to a crappy team. Can I say crappy on television?
Sure. You're Dan Fouts, Dan. You can say whatever you like.
Jones, but he is a great player, isn't he?
Coming over for a 2nd-round pick. A trade that they hope will solidify a pass rush that has been a bit of a struggle for them. Let's go downstairs to Heather, get an update from that Charger sideline. Heather?
Yeah, Dan and Spiro, a few moments ago, we saw wide receiver Dontrell Inman walk off the field with team doctors, headed to the locker room with his helmet in hand. Obviously, if you were watching the beginning of the game, you saw him take a significant blow to the head, hard enough to pop the helmet right off his head and send it flying 10 to 15 feet away from him. At this point, it appears they're just going through the motions to make sure that he did not suffer a concussion. If he did, taking those necessary next steps. Guys?
We'll try to get an update on Inman. And if you missed it, as Heather pointed out, just a vicious blow that he took. This is Clemens under pressure on 3rd down, trying to go underneath to Isaiah Burse. And with all the injuries, Dan, that they've had in the wide receiving corps, this is the kid that Mike McCoy and his staff have really taken a hard look at during camp. Burse, the 2nd-year man out of Fresno State.
This is the hit that Heather was talking about. Buchanan leading with his shoulder right to the face mask, and that broke the chin strap and knocked the helmet off and sent Burse to the locker room.
So the rookie punter, Drew Kaiser, back onto the field. 56-yard punt on his last attempt, pinned Arizona at around their own 1-yard line. This is Andre Ellington, the little speedster in a return game, crosses the 20 and is brought down by a host of San Diego tacklers at the 25. 52 yards on the punt, 8 yards on the return. Chargers lead the Cardinals 7-0. Cardinals, Carson Palmer goes 2 unproductive series. And now Drew Stanton, who is back for his 3rd season as Palmer's backup quarterback, just signed a contract extension during the offseason. You see his career numbers. 10th year in the NFL out of Michigan State. Stanton fires near side of the field, and it is caught. That's Jerron Brown. 2nd catch, nifty catch we've seen from Brown. 18 yards. Good enough for an Arizona 1st down.
Now Brown is taking advantage of this opportunity with Fitzgerald out and John Brown not playing. A couple of good high catches for Jerron Brown, and a good throw to start his evening by Drew Stanton.
Mentioned no Larry Fitzgerald, so some extra opportunities for Brown and some of these 2nd and 3rd string receivers for Arizona. 1st and 10 from their own 42. Cardinals sticking to that ground game, and so far so good, Dan, for this Chargers run defense. So hard to evaluate, these teams and players during the preseason, but the first stringers still on the field looking impressive.
Well, what they're doing is they're getting penetration. They're not getting beat at the line of scrimmage. They're lowering their pad level, not playing as high as they did last week, and they're gang tackling. They missed a lot of tackles. Mike McCoy said he counted 21 missed tackles against the Titans.
That's a high number, even for a preseason game. And you just could see the look on McCoy's face in our conversation with him. As Stanton, nearly lost the football. Melvin Ingram couldn't decide whether to wrap him up or go for the strip. And he came up with neither. There is a marker thrown behind the play.
Yeah, 2 mistakes on Ingram. First of all, he's offsides. And then instead of going for the sure sack, tries to strip the ball. And Stanton does a great job not only hanging on, but pulling away and picking up yardage.
Offside. Number 54 defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, he's clearly offsides, and then he gets around Veldeer, and right there, that's a heck of a job by Stanton to hang on. But they'll take the 5-yard penalty and keep it at second down.
Ingram, their first-round pick back in 2012, career-high 10.5 sacks for the Chargers last year. Another one of the few options that they had in a rush portion of their defense. So Ingram now the longest tenured linebacker on this Chargers defensive unit. 2nd and 4, Chris Johnson is brought down just beyond the line of scrimmage. Manti Te'o led the Chargers in tackles a year ago, over the 100 tackle mark for the first time in his 4-year career.
Well, blitzing the secondary has helped the Chargers tonight. Of course, we got the touchdown from Flowers. That time, Dwight Lowry came from his strong safety spot and shot across the offensive line. That forced the running back, Chris Johnson, to turn it up inside where there were a number of Chargers there, stopping for little or no gain.
Arizona allowed the 4th fewest sacks in the NFL last season, only 27. Chargers coming on 3rd down, and that pass is intercepted. Jaleel Addae with his 2nd San Diego pick. Addae still going. Crosses the 25 inside the 10 and finally brought down. Addae runs into the end zone, but the officials mark him back at the 9. 61 yards on the return from Addae, the 4th-year starting safety out of Central Michigan.
Good coverage that time by Jason Verrett underneath, and Addae just playing center field here. Pass intended for J.J. Nelson, but ball way overthrown. But now Addae's thinking one thing: I want to get in the end zone too, just like Flowers did. He gets a convoy here, and then from behind comes Nelson with a good effort, and they keep him out of the end zone. But another big play for the Charger defense, and John Pagano just loves that as he congratulates Addae on the sideline.
Big burden on the shoulders of that man, Jaleel Addae. With, of course, Eric Weddle moving on to Baltimore during the offseason. Their leading returning tackler in the secondary from a year ago had 65 stops. This is Danny Woodhead on 1st down and goal. Minimal pickup. And so a lot of good vibes, Dan, in that defensive huddle for the Chargers.
And offensively, who else would you expect to see here in the red zone but Danny Woodhead? Woodhead had 3 touchdowns last year rushing. 9 rather.
Career high 1,091 yards from scrimmage. First Chargers running back to ever lead the team in receptions and receiving yards as well as touchdown catches. Woodhead lines up bottom of your picture on 2nd and goal. Clemens from the gun fires over the middle and completes. That's the tight end Hunter Henry, the rookie, who's had a very impressive camp and made a couple of nice plays last week after the early drop. They pick up 7.
Good job by Clemens looking the defense off to the left side, then coming back and finding the big tight end. Good size, 6'5", 250, and he does have sure hands.
His veteran O-line teammates have nicknamed him Pretty Boy and Pretty Mouth. Good-looking kid, rookie out of Arkansas, son of a preacher, who has acclimated himself very well, not only on the field, but his first few months here in San Diego. Clemens pass near side going for Burse in the near corner of the end zone. working against that vaunted Arizona secondary. Incomplete. And with 30 seconds left in the quarter, Mike McCoy sends out his field goal unit.
Yeah, a little bit of traffic in the end zone that time. It was type of a pick play, trying to get the receiver to the corner of the end zone, and Clemens just didn't find a way to wait it out and maybe put a little air under the ball, throw it a little bit higher, and let the receiver run under it. Incomplete.
See the numbers for Lambeau a year ago. He did lead all rookie kickers in points. Missed only 6 field goal attempts all season long. So the long interception return by Addae sets the table as San Diego builds on their lead now at 10-0. All 10 Chargers points coming off a couple of Arizona turnovers. Jaleel Addai's 61-yard interception return to set up the Chargers with a 1st and goal from the Cardinals' 9, although they have to settle for a Josh Lambeau field goal. That's where we stand. Spiro Dedes, Dan Fouts, Heather Myers, rest of our crew, our producer Jason Bott, Tom Satursky, our director, and the rest of our CBS crew here from Qualcomm Stadium on a beautiful 75-degree night here in San Diego. Lambeau boots it away to the back of the end zone, and the Cardinals will take over from the 25. Here comes Drew Stanton, number 2 quarterback behind Carson Palmer, whom we saw for 2 offensive possessions if you've just joined us. And so far, Chargers defense has gotten the better of Bruce Arians' offense tonight.
Both teams benefited from working against each other on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, and you can tell it really helped the Chargers because they feel like they've got really a good beat on what the Cardinals are trying to do, especially in the passing game.
This is 1st and 10. Stanton the give to Johnson, and a pickup of 3. We told you about Chris Johnson's season a year ago. Was playing so well. Was on his way to 1,000 yards and then suffered that fractured tibia in his left leg in the 12th week of the season. And so Johnson unable to get the contract he was looking for back for Arizona. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. 10-0 San Diego, a much improved looking squad from the team that we saw fall to Tennessee last weekend, 27-10. We head to the second and back to San Diego right after this. A couple of Cardinals stars. Larry Fitzgerald to the left, being held out tonight, given the night off. A couple of knick-knack injuries, nothing serious. And Carson Palmer now done for the night after 2 offensive possessions. This is Chris Johnson, first play of the second quarter, crosses the 30 and picks up 3. Let's go downstairs to Heather, get an update. Actually, we'll hold on Heather for just a moment as we welcome you back to Qualcomm Stadium. Spiro Dedes, Dan Fouts, Heather Myers, and our entire CBS crew. Home opener in the preseason for San Diego. There's Mike McCoy, back for his 4th season, 22-26. As Chargers head coach, so far has to be pleased with what he has seen from his defense as we head here into the second quarter. This is Stanton on 3rd and 4. Stanton fires over the middle, incomplete. Off the hand of J.J. Nelson, the 2nd-year man out of UAB. Steve Williams, the 4th-year corner out of Cal, who started a couple of games for John Pagano last season on the coverage.
Well, you talked about how much improved the Chargers' run defense is tonight. The Cardinals have run the ball 7 times for just 12 yards. So that's got to make McCoy and Pagano extremely pleased here in the first half.
Drew Butler on the punt. Dan, this is one of the areas where San Diego just has to get better. I mentioned just 84 punt return yards as a team last year. This is Isaiah Burst, nearly muffed that punt. So that's the 2nd punt return that has netted 0 yards for the Chargers tonight. 47 yards of the punt from Butler. Chargers up 10-0. Up 10. Let's go downstairs to Heather, get an injury update from the Chargers.
Yeah, Dan Spiro, thanks so much. Just found out from the Chargers that wide receiver Dontrell Inman did not, in fact, suffer a concussion. So some good news there. Even after watching him suffer that significant blow that popped his helmet right off, what they will do now is keep him out for the rest of the game. Guys?
All right, Heather, thanks. So already a wide receiving unit and was thin coming in. Of course, no Stevie Johnson, that knee injury that ended his season on only the second day of camp. No Javante Herndon, he is still out. And now Inman appears to be done for the night. That is Melvin Gordon, a pickup of 3, and we go right back downstairs to Heather standing by with a special guest.
All right, guys, yes, here with Antonio Gates, who obviously is not playing in tonight's game, but has to be impressed by what you're seeing out there.
Well, I think the most important thing is that see guys play together and have fun, and I think that's the staple of what we're trying to represent this season. And can't say enough about that defense flying around making a whole bunch of plays.
What do you think the difference is from just 6 days ago?
Well, I think obviously you make contribution every single day in training camp, and then obviously you want to somehow make that transition where it applies to the game. So guys been working hard these last 3 weeks, and now you're seeing it carry over to the game.
Season 14 for you, off to a great start already for you personally. What do you think about the success this regular season? Can we take anything from tonight and apply it toward the regular season?
Well, I think you don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low in the preseason. Preseason is about, working at things that you try to get done in the regular season, and making the plays you're supposed to make, and then building off of those plays. But you don't want to, make too much of the preseason, because it's, the regular season, the tempo changes, the guys you face changes, but it's something that you definitely can build off of.
One of the things that's been neat to see so far during the preseason is the loaded talent in the tight end position. Hunter Henry, for one. I know that as soon as people mention his name, it brings a smile to your face instantly. What is it about this kid that's almost electric at this point?
I mean, it's so many things I can say about the kid. I think the number one thing that sticks out about him is just his true toughness and his ability to work and his ability to want to be better every single day. Obviously, I've had scenarios before when I had a guy come in with Ladarius in the past, and he's just a guy that understands the game. He makes the plays he's supposed to make, and he makes the plays he's not supposed to make. So he's another added dimension to our offense, and hopefully, we can do some good things together this season.
I know you can. Antonio Gates set to perhaps break a record this season. All-time touchdowns for a tight end. Could surpass Tony Gonzalez. All right, Antonio Gates, keep up the great work. Always the consummate professional, and has no problem telling people that he is the oldest Charger on the team, but takes excellent care of himself. Dan Spiro?
Heather, he's aged quite gracefully. 36 years of age, 5-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler. And he will be in that Hall of Fame next to Dan before he knows that this is an end-around play to Travis Benjamin. And Dan, what a difference a year makes. This time last year, Gates was dealing with that looming 4-game suspension, kind of had the offense in flux. But once he came back, he certainly performed at his usual high level.
Well, his touchdown ratio to receptions is marvelous. 104 touchdown receptions, 844 catches. So obviously Phillip Rivers and him have a special way of communicating on the field. He's almost impossible to cover, especially over the middle with all those little pivot moves he makes and his great hands.
Now, one thing a lot of people forget about Antonio Gates is you see Phillip Rivers on the sideline, undrafted out of Kent State, never played football in college. Was, of course, a very highly touted basketball player at Kent State, led them to the NCAA tournament. Just an incredible career he has had. The future Hall of Famer. This is Tyrell Williams on a 14-yard catch for the first down.
Yeah, he's been battling a groin injury. That's why he didn't play last week against Tennessee. But the timing there between him and Clemens was absolutely perfect as he dove back for that catch to bring the ball inside the 30-yard line. Good drive for Clemens and the Chargers right now. They got that 28-yarder to Keenan Allen while we were visiting with Gates.
Williams, the second-year man out of Western Oregon. Undrafted. Division II product as that snap is fumbled. Looked like Clemens never had it cleanly. Pylon ensues just inside the 30, and it appears as though the Chargers have recovered the football, and it was Clemens who fell on it. And that old quarterback center exchange, Clemens that time, Dan, working from the gun.
Yeah, it looked like there was a problem with Clemens grabbing that ball initially, but I like the hustle that he showed going after the ball and then taking away from a couple of Cardinals that had a real good shot at that ball.
So 2nd and 11 after the broken play. Clemens 5 of 8, 71 yards till this point. Getting the preseason start with Rivers being given the night off. That pass from Clemens is incomplete, intended for Travis Benjamin, making his Chargers debut. Career year with Cleveland last week. Covered on the play by Brandon Williams, and they're hoping that this kid Benjamin, Dan, is going to give Rivers that deep threat that he's been looking for.
Well, we saw the Chargers use him on an end around earlier on this drive here, but you got to give this one to the rookie, Brandon Williams. He cut as sharply to the outside as Benjamin did and was able to strip the ball out, but Benjamin has lightning type of moves and speed.
And you see the average yards per touchdown catch in his career. Just an incredible number.
Yes, it is.
4-year free agent deal in the offseason. Here is Benjamin inside the 20. Football comes loose. Officials not signaling yet. Arizona recovers the football, and it will be Cardinals ball. Benjamin pleading his case that he was down. Marquis Christian on the recovery for Arizona, negating what was a very impressive play on the catch by Benjamin.
Well, the officials both threw their beanbag, because we have 2 back judges in this game, an experiment for the NFL in a couple of preseason games. But it appeared to me that Benjamin's backside was down as the ball was being ripped out of his hands.
Every turnover subject to automatic review. Was Benjamin down before the football came loose? Carl Cheffers and his staff will take a look upstairs. 10-0 Chargers. 9 and change left before halftime. Packed house here at the Q. 10-0 San Diego. That last Travis Benjamin catch and fumble under review.
Well, the right knee's down before the ball is ripped out, so the Chargers win this review.
It was Cariel Brooks on the tackle.
But again, it puzzles me that there's 2 back judges right there, maybe 10 yards away from the play, and both of them ruled it on the field as a fumble, and it's so clear that both knees were down before the ball came out.
And Bruce Arians appears to be hot. You heard Dan mention earlier 8 officials on the field that the NFL has been experimenting with during the preseason. So the Chargers retain possession. The 12-yard pass play between Clemens and Benjamin. This is the 10th play of the drive. 1st and 10. Clemens takes a shot. Back corner of the end zone. It falls incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Jeff Cumberland. And now Cumberland will limp to the Chargers sideline. Free agent acquisition.
Yeah, this is never a good sign as he's trying to stretch to find the ball. If I were to guess the injury, I'd say it's a hamstring. But the ball clearly overthrown by Clemens as he waited to try to get Cumberland back at the end zone. Again, an injury to the receiving core, this time a tight end.
Cumberland coming over in free agency from the Jets has been very impressive so far in camp. That's Melvin Gordon, a pickup of 3. Dan, how's Gordon looked? Obviously the big play last week. How's he looked to you so far in the preseason and here tonight?
Well, he had that really good run to start the game. But on that play, you know, the key to me right now is this is the red zone. And last year he would be replaced in the red zone by Woodhead. So this is a real test for him to see how he can do here, not only with running the ball, but picking up the blitzes. You can see Woodhead back in the game now, but got to give Gordon a boost of confidence from Mike McCoy to be in there on that last play.
Here's Clemens, the 11th year vet. On 3rd and 7, has time, slings it near side. That's incomplete. Trying to find Benjamin just shy of the goal line. Brooks, the 2nd-year corner out of Adams State, an undrafted free agent, was there on the coverage.
That's the third down and long that Clemens has faced on this drive. He converted with Williams on a 14-yarder on 3rd and 14, and then the Benjamin play that was good for 11 yards and a first down.
Lambeau collected on a 20-yard attempt earlier, this time from 33 yards out. Lambeau and his holder Kaiser, who teamed together, by the way, at Texas A&M, are perfect on that attempt as well. 13-0, San Diego in front. Time now for tonight's Lightning Fast Facts, brought to you by Cox Communications. We mentioned Travis Benjamin and the career touchdowns. Chargers currently have 11 wide receivers on the active roster. James Jones, 51 career touchdown catches. The other 10 wideouts have 30 combined between them. What a career James Jones has had coming over in the offseason from Green Bay.
And he had a big year last year. Of his 50 catches, he had 8 for scores and a long of 65 yards.
Career high 890 receiving yards for Jones. And with the injury to Stevie Johnson, Mike McCoy hoping he has something left in the tank. He was a Pro Bowl alternate last year as his late career renaissance continues. How about some of the defensive numbers? This is what the Chargers defense has done, Dan, so far in this first half. Some impressive numbers.
Well, if there's ever perfection for a defense, that's it right there. One of those picks goes for a pick 6 of 25 yards by Brandon Flowers. And of course, that 61-yard interception returned by Adai set up a field goal.
There's so many areas for the San Diego defense to improve. Only 58 total sacks over the last couple of seasons. Second fewest in the NFL during that stretch. A little underneath pass to Chris Hubert for a pickup of 15 and an Arizona first down.
Fayetteville State, you know where that is?
Fayetteville, Arkansas?
I hope so.
Geography isn't that good, Dan, but take a little bit of a guess there.
There are more than one Fayetteville, though, so make sure. I think you got to Google that one, Spiro.
We'll get our crack staff on that. First and 10 after the nifty little pass from Stanton. And the clock continues to run, coming up on the final 7 minutes before halftime. Hubert, the rookie, in motion. First and 10. They keep it on the ground. This is Andre Ellington, and very similar to the team we saw last week at Nashville, the Tennessee Titans team. Kind of an embarrassment of riches for Arizona and Bruce Arians, Dan, at that running back position.
Well, they rushed for 172 yards in their last game, a loss to the Raiders. 172 yards, and they had 35 attempts by 7 different rushers. So that shows you that Arians, who's known for throwing the ball and throwing it deep, has got that embarrassment of riches at running back.
20th rushing attempt, or 20 rushing yards, I should say, for Arizona. And that, of course, one of the themes for the San Diego defense. Stephen Taylor, the 4th-year, 5th-round pick out of Stanford, tackled by Torek Williams.
Yeah, pretty good hit here at the end of this play. Stephon Taylor is going to get stood up and then driven backwards. Again, you're seeing a lot of white jerseys around the ball carrier. That's always a good sign. Torek Williams leading the way.
Dan, no surprise I was incorrect. Fayetteville State in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Don't ask me any geography questions, please. 3rd and short. Cardinals trying to sneak it past that first down marker inside Chargers territory, and they appear to have enough. Yes, they do, for a first down. There's Bruce Arians, who mentioned year 4. What a job he's done. An incredible season last year, the 13 wins. Of course, did get blown up in that NFC title game by Carolina, but this is maybe, Dan, the closest knit locker room that there is these days in the NFL, and that's a testament to Arians.
Well, Arians, 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. One time when he was filling in for Chuck Pagano, who happens to be John Pagano's brother, when Chuck was battling cancer. Tremendous coach.
This is Stamp going to take a shot on 1st and 10. Excellent coverage down the field. J.J. Nelson has been targeted a number of times, but just has not been able to get himself going. Steve Williams, 4th-year corner out of Cal, and a former 5th-round pick from the Chargers back in 2013 was there.
A little contact there that Williams gets away with as he's holding Nelson down the field. Again, the officials letting him play, I guess. Or are they? Do they call pass interference there?
No penalty. No penalty on the play. So the Cardinals still looking for their first points. There's Williams. He stays on the field. Now it appears as though they did change to a first down. There was no announcement from the officials. So there was, Dan, you're right, absolutely correct. 5-yard defensive holding penalty on Williams, which appeared to be the correct call. And so curiously, no announcement. So 1st and 10. Stanton has timed that pass incomplete, right off the hands of Shipley. A little bit of a soft spot underneath against that San Diego secondary.
And that soft spot turned into a hard spot as it hit Shipley right in the breastplate. Right on the shoulder pads in front, and that ball just bounced back. He had a lot of room to run if he makes that catch.
And that look from Bruce Arians tells the story. Arians, of course, has had a tough week here in San Diego, hospitalized overnight on Tuesday. Had a bout with diverticulitis. So back leading this Cardinals team. And so right now they're still looking for their first points, and they are going backwards. Andre Ellington blown up in the backfield by Damian Square, the fourth-year backup nose tackle out of Alabama.
Well, let's check out number 71 here as he just overpowers Earl Watford and gets in the backfield.
Square, such a rugged rotational player along that defensive front for John Pagano. And puts the Cardinals in a bind here, 3rd and 15 as we come up on the final 4 minutes of the half. Stanton steps up, sacked. First sack of the night for the Chargers. Stanton trying to escape pressure, could not. Jerry Atauchu able to wrap him around the ankles.
A great speed by Atauchu coming around the corner and then diving for those ankles. And Chargers 2 big plays in a row. First by Square, tackle for loss, and then the sack by Atauchu.
Atauchu getting ready for his 3rd NFL season, 2nd on the defense last year in sacks. Has shown potential at times. Other times has been a little bit quieter than John Pagano would have wanted. 42 yards on the punt. 13-0 San Diego in front. 13-0 Chargers in front. Late stages first half as we welcome you back to the Q. Spiro Dedes, Dan Fouts, Heather Myers, and the rest of our CBS crew. 2nd of 4 preseason games. Big story so far has been this Chargers defense. Couple of picks, both coming from that secondary. First it was Brandon Flowers, 25 yards on the return. And then Jaleel Addae, a 61-yard return on his pick to set the table for the first of a couple of field goals. Tyrell Williams, 13 yards and a first down. We go downstairs to Heather Myers.
Yeah, Dan Spiro, thanks. I want to give you an update on number 87 tight end Jeff Cumberland, who was thrown the ball, wasn't able to catch it, but somehow injured his Achilles on that play, hobbled off to the sideline. He sat down in a chair, and it wasn't a few moments before they were able to get him into a cart and rush him into the locker room with team doctors behind him. At this point, he did not seem to be, at least from outward appearances, in any significant pain, but that's an update on him at this moment. Dan Spiro, let's get back up to you in the booth.
All right, Heather, thanks. And always scary as that pass intended for Williams falls incomplete. Brandon Williams on the coverage of Tyrell Williams. Those non-contact injuries, Dan, always scary.
Well, especially that one. I mean, you could see that instantly he was in, really grave pain there and could not put any weight on his left leg. So we wish him the best, but now the Chargers without Gates tonight, and they rely on a couple of youngsters at tight end, Hunter Henry and Sean McGrath.
Chance for the rookie Henry to get some extra reps. Both Rivers and Gates expected to see their most extensive time in the preseason next week when the Chargers will travel to Minnesota. That's Brandon Oliver, another dual threat back out of the San Diego backfield. 18 yards from Kellen Clemens and a Chargers first down.
He's so dangerous out of the backfield, right side of the screen. Clemens does a good job of getting to him quickly, an adjustment to the pass, and then making the first tackler miss. That's so paramount for any running back, but something that Charger fans are used to seeing out of Brandon Oliver.
Oliver burst onto the scene a couple of years ago as an undrafted rookie out of Buffalo. His season cut short last November, that toe injury. But he is impressed so far in Canton. Had a pretty good preseason opener last week in that loss. This is Oliver again, a pickup of 3. And if this kid, Dan, can start to get downhill, I'm just not sure how you bring him down. 5'8", little fire hydrant, packing about 210 pounds of solid muscle.
Yeah, and the other thing, that the adjustment the Chargers will make now with Cumberland out, As we'll see both fullbacks, Derek Watt and Chris Swain. Watt in the game on that play, and he'll see a lot of action along with Swain in the second half.
And that takes us to the 2-minute warning here at the Q. Kellen Clemens trying to drive the Chargers down the field. San Diego in front 13-0. John Pagano, the San Diego defensive coordinator, has to be awfully pleased so far. His unit pitching a shutout. And despite the fact that the Chargers won only 4 games last year, Phillip Rivers and this offense put up some pretty impressive numbers. 12 scores in the final 2 minutes. And during that 4-12 campaign, Tyrell Williams on the catch. They pick up 5 yards. And that'll be about 1.5 yards short of the first down marker. Gabe Martin, the first-year man out of Bowling Green, on the tackle. Clemens hurries him up to the line of scrimmage. Kellen Clemens, who actually grades out as one of the top backup quarterbacks in the NFL, getting the start. Phillip Rivers, that pass is complete. First down at the Arizona 30, penalty marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage. It's a 15-yard catch if it stands.
Now they're calling it defensive holding. One of those plays where they're doing a twist or something, and the defensive lineman will grab the offensive lineman and allow his partner to loop around behind. The officials right on the play. In fact, our referee, Carl Cheffers, made that call. Unusual to see, but definitely a guilty party there.
1st and 10 after the completion. Clemens going to take a shot, looking for Williams near side of the field, and this is where they feel like Williams can eventually become a player. I mentioned the injury that held him out of the game last week in Tennessee. But you start to talk about Williams in a potential combination with Travis Benjamin and then Keenan Allen down on the other side, and you've got some options.
And what Williams brings is 6'4" and leaping ability, and that's what Clemens wanted that time.
This is 2nd and 10. Clemens underneath. That pass off the hands of Benjamin, and you have to expect there to be some rust from Benjamin out the last couple of weeks with that hamstring, making his preseason debut tonight.
And not making excuses for Benjamin, but that ball has got to be thrown to his body because there's traffic everywhere. The ball was thrown a little bit high. The Cardinals were converging on him. If the ball is thrown lower and to his body, he makes the catch and he can protect himself.
Kellen Clemens, 21 career starts, has only attempted 9 passes over the last 2 years. Don't get many opportunities, of course, when you play behind Phillip Rivers. This is 3rd and 10. Clemens feeling the pressure, completes. This is James Jones trying to turn the corner, but Jones going backwards. It'll be officially a gain of nothing on the play. So right back to the line of scrimmage. Christian, their rookie safety and 5th-round pick out of Midwestern State, on the tackle.
So again, the Chargers offense inability to get into the end zone with favorable field position. Prior to that possession, they were in the red zone twice and had to settle for field goals each time. Here's another one from 48.
Lambeau 2 for 2, is hit from 20 and 33 yards out. Mike McCoy changing up his quarterback rotation. Of course, no Phillip Rivers. We are seeing Clemens in the first half, and then it'll be Mike Bercovici, their number 4 quarterback on the depth chart currently. He'll be next, and then Zach Mettenberger will clean up if we see Mettenberger at all tonight. 48-yard attempt from Lambeau is good. And with 24 seconds left before halftime, Chargers now up 16-0.
That was an impressive kick by Lambeau. Didn't make it by much, but it was dead straight. And probably, give it a couple more yards, maybe 4 or 5. But the fact that he's now converted 3 in a row and keeps the momentum going for San Diego. 1 defensive score and 3 field goals from Lambeau.
Good-looking preseason crowd tonight. One more preseason home game before the regular season begins. It'll be Thursday, September the 1st, leading into Labor Day weekend. Nice way to spend that final weekend before the big show starts. Tickets still available. Call 877-CHARGERS or visit chargers.com. Of course, the stadium situation, a hot topic here in Southern California, as that goes to a ballot on November the 8th. That's all anyone seems to be talking about in this city, as Chargers fans wait with bated breath to find out the future of their beloved Chargers. Final 20 seconds. This is Andre Ellington crossing the 25 out to the 27, 26 yards on the return. What about the defensive numbers so far this first half of the preseason? And what a difference between last week and this. This was the first half last week in that 27-10 loss against the Titans.
Yeah, you got to believe that the work with the Cardinals this week has picked up the tempo for the Chargers. They had better tempo in practice, and it's showing tonight.
Carson Palmer, Arizona's starting quarterback, played 2 series. He was picked off by Brandon Flowers. As Dan mentioned earlier, that pass from Stanton intended for Shipley falls incomplete. 12 seconds left in the half.
And the interception that Dye picked off and returned 61 yards was very similar to that pass. A high pass by Stanton that flew way over the head of the receiver. That one incomplete, but the one of Dye looked exactly the same as he was playing center field. Chargers defense will loosen up now on 2nd and 10.
Carson Palmer coming back last year from the second torn ACL of his career. What a season he had, leading Arizona to those 13 wins. Stanton's going to throw on the run. High pass. What a catch by Shipley. Climbing the ladder for it. And the officials say that was indeed a completion. Pressure coming from Torrek Williams. There's Larry Fitzgerald. 1 second left. It's a 28-yard completion.
They're trying to get to the line of scrimmage before the replay. The Chargers are going to challenge this. They call timeout, so the officials can look at this because this is real close on the sideline. Stanton trying to beat the clock, if you will. Remember that TV show, don't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure you do. Here's the toe tap on the sideline by Shipley. Left foot, hard to tell. Right foot way out of bounds. This is an incomplete pass, folks. Great effort by Shipley. Left foot's in, but you can see the right foot on the chalk. Shipley only goes about 6 foot. He climbed that ladder, as you said, Spiro. This one's coming back.
Shipley, the undrafted first-year man out of Texas. As Carl Cheffers goes under the hood here with just 1 second remaining on the clock.
And the difference between this being a completion, obviously it's going to come back, but from this point on the field, Stanton easily could throw a Hail Mary. And anything, as we've seen, especially lately in the NFL, anything can happen on that. But backed up to the other side of the 50-yard line would be much more difficult for Stanton and the Cardinals. As they know what's happening as they're starting to move backwards.
Carl Cheffers communicating with the replay officials upstairs. During the season, of course, the regular season, Dean Blandino, the head of officials, will be in communication in these types of situations with the referee on the field as he puts the headset on and goes under the hood. And here's the announcement from Carl Cheffers.
Review. The ruling on the field is reversed. An incomplete pass.
Having some audio issues with Cheffers' microphone tonight. That play will be brought back, so it is deemed incomplete. Pretty easy call for the replay officials to make.
But you know, it's preseason for the officials now. They've missed 2 really obvious calls. That was so far out of bounds with his right foot, but the official adamantly called it a completion.
Have to work on Carl's microphone at halftime as well. They put a couple of seconds back on the clock. And it looks like Stanton will just take a knee and bring us to halftime. Well, San Diego blown out last week in Tennessee. Looked very poor defensively. Much different script, at least through the first 30 minutes here tonight at the Q. 16-0 Chargers up at halftime. We go downstairs. Heather standing by with Mike McCoy.
Yeah, Dan Spiro, thank you so much. Let's get straight to the coach. You mentioned after last week's game that there would be immediate corrections on the defensive side of the ball. You must be pleased by what you're seeing tonight.
Well, getting the 2 turnovers and then the 3 and outs to start the game defensively, very happy with the way they played. That's why we took them out.
Talk about the first thing you're going to be addressing with the team in the locker room.
Well, we're going to make some changes for the everybody who's playing, who's not. So that's going to be the first thing we're going to have to talk about.
Coach, thanks. Appreciate your time. As the coach jogs off to the locker room, Dan Spiro, send it back upstairs to you guys.
Well, you never know from the coach that his team is pitching a shutout, but obviously a lot of things that need to be discussed at halftime. 16-0, a couple of interceptions from that San Diego secondary. First Brandon Flowers, and then Jaleel Adai. Halftime here on CBS. Welcome you back to Qualcomm Stadium. Spiro Dedes, Dan Fouts, Heather Myers, rest of our CBS 8 crew. Preseason game 2 of 4. And so far, so good for the Chargers, beaten last week in Nashville. Tonight, in the home opener, have looked much better, especially defensively. Garrett Swanson will come on to kick. And back deep, Isaiah Burris, who continues to get an extensive look. Dan, in that return game by Mike McCoy and this coaching staff.
Well, the Chargers struggled last year. They were worst in average start to after a kickoff, just 23-yard line. So this one, they'll get it out to the 25 because of the new rule. But obviously something that they need to improve upon this year is returning kickoffs.
Well, no Phillip Rivers, as we've been talking about all night, given the night off. Kellen Clemens made the start, and now a bit of a surprise. Mike Bercovici, the undrafted rookie out of Arizona State, 23-year-old quarterback, is the first quarterback off the bench, so to speak, moving in front of Zach Mettenberger, Dan, at least here in week 2 of the preseason, and a big, big chance for this kid Bercovici.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a big chance, a great opportunity, because he'll get to play the lion's share of the second half.
1st and 10, they keep it on the ground. This is Brandon Oliver, keeping those legs churning. Picks up 4 yards on the play. Bercovici, 5 years at Arizona State, was actually being talked about before the season as a potential dark horse candidate for the Heisman Trophy. It's an ASU team that was expected to contend in the Pac-12. Things did not go according to plan.
He did throw 30 touchdown passes, though, last year for the Sun Devils.
And by far the biggest moment and opportunity he's had in what has been really a solid camp so far for the undrafted rookie. That pass, he's batted up at the line of scrimmage and falls incomplete. It was Olsen Pierre, the undrafted rookie out of Miami, getting his big mitt on it.
And that's the problem with Bercovici. He's listed at 6 foot tall. And that's short for a quarterback in the NFL. I know Drew Brees is about the same size, but there's only one Drew Brees. He's phenomenal. That ball swatted right at the line of scrimmage.
Mike McCoy told us last week in our conversation with him before that game in Tennessee that size not overly important as far as he's concerned with a quarterback.
First charge timeout, San Diego.
San Diego will be forced to burn a timeout. And this is the challenge, Dan. You can get those reps in practice, but really nothing to simulate a game situation for a kid with such little experience as Bercovici.
And really the puzzling thing about calling a timeout here is you're having the communication directly from Ken Whisenhunt on the sidelines to the quarterback. Obviously there was some question in Bercovici's mind exactly what Whisenhunt wanted, so he had to burn that timeout.
Bercovici didn't have to go far to catch out a Cardinals game in person the last couple of years. Started Arizona State, here under pressure, and still is able to complete to James Jones. 22 yards. What a pass by Bercovici right as the contact came for a Chargers first down.
And the contact came from 2 sides. He had to step up into the pocket. But look at the adjustment on this ball by the veteran James Jones. He located the ball early. There's the pressure around the corner on Bercovici, getting hit from behind as he let that ball go.
That was Kareem Martin who came and got to him right on the release. That was a 3rd and 9 play. What a play by Bercovici. Oliver with a minimal pickup, and Zach Mettenberger, till this point, by all accounts, Dan, has been largely unimpressive in training camp. Didn't play well last week in his Chargers preseason debut. So there's an opening right now for Bercovici if he can play well.
Well, Mettenberger just 2 of 8 for 22 yards against his former team. He was picked off twice, and he's sacked. He picked off once and sacked twice. So as you said, not a good evening back in Nashville for Mettenberger.
2nd and 8 after the short run. Dom Williams, wide receiver, lined up bottom of your screen. First time we've seen him. Bercovici steps up in the pocket, and that one nearly picked. Right off the hands of Marquis Christian, and boy, Bercovici awfully lucky as the rookie just dropped what appeared to be a surefire interception.
Yeah, he's going to overthrow. You see the crossing route there, and then trying to force it down the field even farther. Trying to get the ball to Dom Williams, and the rookie Marquis Christian, a 5th-round pick, flat dropped this ball. There's about 4 guys calling for it, wasn't it?
Where does Bercovici go here? 3rd and 8. Calabasas native steps up in the pocket, has time, slings it, and completes. Dom Williams on the first down catch. 18 yards as the Chargers move the chains.
Trevin Hartfield all over the back of Dom Williams that time. It's good to see that Bercovici stepped up into the pocket. He could have run, but he had his focus down the field and delivers a strike on 3rd down. Big conversion for Bercovici and the Chargers.
Bercovici, the LA kid, started Taft High up in Woodland Hills. Stellar career, 5 years at Arizona State, and now getting his big NFL chance with the San Diego Chargers. That's Brandon Oliver. As Oliver becomes the workhorse now here early in the 2nd half. And the Chargers in front 16-0.
Oliver's just got such great acceleration as he took that draw play and hit the line of scrimmage with great speed and picked up 5 yards. Positive gain on 1st down.
Oliver a couple of years ago, nearly 600 yards on the ground, and then last season placed on IR after that toe injury cut short his season. Oliver again on 2nd and 5. Picks up a couple, maybe 3. As they need the 20 to move the chains. Matthias Farley, the rookie undrafted safety out of Notre Dame, on the tackle.
And this is a bad sign for the Chargers. They have an injured lineman.
It's Donovan Clark, the 7th-round pick out of Michigan State. The injured Charger. 16-0, San Diego in front. Injured Charger offensive lineman is Donovan Clark, 7th-round pick out of Michigan State. Such a key cog for the Spartans. Chargers have seen him almost exclusively at the guard position so far in camp. 3rd team All Big Ten last year in East Lansing, and that certainly did not look good. We will spare you the replay, as it is the leg of Clark. They will cart him into the San Diego locker room, and we wish that young man the best.
And it happens so often, a big pileup like that. Those big bodies flying around. Clark goes at 315, and he was pushed over a lineman who was on the ground, basically, and appears to have a leg injury, obviously.
Dan, I've said it so many times, it's just amazing to me how that doesn't happen more often.
I could not agree with you more.
Such big bodies planting those big legs in such close quarters. Marcel Jones, one of the newest Chargers 3rd-string offensive lineman, checks in. This is Oliver. Officials will mark him down. There is a penalty marker thrown.
Yeah, this is going to go against the Chargers, an illegal pick. That's how Oliver got so wide open. Official right on the spot, threw his flag immediately.
That's Dom Williams, who had the big 18-yard 1st down catch earlier on this drive. And Mike McCoy just doesn't look very happy tonight, does he?
Watch Williams come from the inside here, and he's just going to get in the way of the linebacker for the Cardinals. Like Gabe Martin. Not much contact, but enough that one of those points of emphasis in the preseason that the officials are going to call every time because they know it's going to happen a lot in the regular season.
So that puts Bercovici in a tough spot here. 3rd and 12. On the 32, that pass is complete. That's Williams again over the middle. They pick up 16 yards, and Bercovici once again, and now they say incomplete. Incompletion.
Well, he stood tough in the pocket there, and the ball was on target, but you got to give a lot of credit to the defender that time. That's Trevin Hartfield with a couple of big plays for the Cardinals.
Vantage point block just for a split second up here as Williams trying to come down with that football. This will be a 50-yard attempt. Lambeau so far has been perfect, and that will continue. What a kicker the second-year kid out of Texas A&M has been. San Diego builds on that lead now at 19-0. 19-0 San Diego. Chargers have scored on their last 4 possessions, all field goals. As we welcome you back to the Q. Spiro Dedes, Dan Fouts, Heather Myers. Preseason game number 2. A couple more weeks of the exhibition schedule still in front of us before San Diego will open the regular season September the 11th in Kansas City. Josh Lambeau perfect on his field goal attempts, 4 for 4. Couple of San Diego picks. Brandon Flowers and Jaleel Adai back in the first half if you've just joined us as Lambeau booms another kick into the end zone.
It's almost as if the Chargers are willing to have the ball come out to the 25-yard line instead of trying to kick it short and then cover it, because this is the preseason and this is the most violent play in football as a kickoff return. This may be a safety measure by Mike McCoy to just concede the 25 yards.
And interestingly, with that new rule change, the number of touchbacks just 1 week of the preseason was down sharply last week. That was a bit of a surprise. You have to think that those numbers will even out as we get into the regular season. Quarterback change, second quarterback of the half, and the third we've seen tonight as Drew Stanton gives way to Matt Barkley, the 4th-year man out of USC. Barkley coming over in that trade with Philadelphia a year ago. He has struggled as they complete for 11 yards and a first down.
We're going to see if he can get this Cardinal offense going. The Charger defense has limited the Cardinals. The Cardinals only have 3 plays in Charger territory, and the farthest down the field is the 44-yard line. So the defense doing a great job tonight.
This is Andre Ellington. Picks up 3. Barkley, Dan, in that battle for the number 3 job with Jake Coker, the rookie undrafted first-year man out of Alabama. Talking to some people around the Cardinals, they say that Barkley just has really struggled so far through their training camp.
Well, he struggled last week against the Raiders. Just 8 completions and 24 throws. No touchdowns. He was picked off once. So we'll see if he can turn things around, because this is, again, the opportunity to prove that he can play.
Barkley works under center on 2nd and 7. Barkley goes play action. He's going to take a shot down the field. Intended for J.J. Nelson. Of course, all the stadium talk, the hot button issue here in San Diego, and Heather standing by with one of the men right in the middle of that entire situation. Heather?
Dan Spiro, thanks. Yeah, we are talking about what's now called Ballot Measure C. It's the Chargers Stadium Initiative, and it's got pretty widespread support at this point, including from former San Diego Mayor Jerry Sanders, who of course is the CEO of the San Diego Chamber of Commerce, who gave this ballot measure its stamp of approval. What does this mean for you as a taxpayer? Well, let's bring in Fred Mass, Chargers Special Advisor. Bear with the noise here, Fred. Clear up the misconception that taxpayers will be digging into their pockets to pay for a new stadium.
Well, that's true, Heather, and I appreciate you asking me that question, because I've got some unfortunate news for Cardinal fans here that came to San Diego to visit. Thankfully, they're going to be paying for our new stadium, just like Broncos fans and others are staying here. So as you suggested, if you live in the city of San Diego or you vote here and you don't stay in a hotel, you won't pay one dime for this new facility.
Let's talk about if the sun, moon, and stars line up. And of course, this ballot measure faces an uphill battle in having to get 2/3 of a vote. But if all goes as you would hope, when would the first game be played in that new stadium?
Well, I've been here going on 30 years and haven't seen the perfect alignment of the sun, moon, and stars, but I'm not an astronomer. But nevertheless, I think if everything was perfect, as you suggest, we'd like to be playing in 2021 or so.
Not just for football fans, though. This stadium will be widely used for other events. Talk about the potential for use here.
Well, that's been one of the really exciting things about this proposal. It's not just a 10-day-a-year facility. We're talking about 385,000 square feet of convention space, expansion space. We're talking about utilization of the field for things like NCAA events, X Games, soccer, a host of other things, and political conventions. For those people that just watched in Cleveland and Philadelphia and saw it was there, or Denver in 2008, the possibilities are just endless.
Talk about some of the hoteliers in town who are opposed to this. Help them understand why this may be good for their business.
Well, I mean, if you take a look at other cities around the country, you know, we're significantly lower than other cities are in our transit occupancy taxes. Yet in Los Angeles, which is about 16%, or New Orleans or other cities, they're actually beating our convention business. So, you know, we think we're going to be providing a complement to what we're doing now to help augment their business. And it made, I think, a fairly compelling case that ultimately it's going to inure to their benefit.
Number 85
Chargers Special Advisor Fred Mass, we
Second
appreciate
down.
the update again for voters out there. Of course, this applies to voters in the city of San Diego. It is called Ballot Measure C. Easy to remember. C, obviously Chargers, starts with the letter C. Dan, Spear, send back upstairs to you.
All right, Heather, and the big day will be November the 8th. As Chargers fans who have been in limbo, Dan, it seems like for the last, 10 years, this conversation has been going on, even longer than that. It's hard to imagine the NFL not being in this market. San Diego, so much history here and so much potential moving forward if they can get themselves a facility.
And a couple of very successful Super Bowls played right here at Qualcomm. So can you imagine the NFL with a new stadium here in San Diego? They want to come back and bring their big game here to San Diego, and what a beautiful place to put it in that new stadium.
Well, that's the NFL in 2016. It's basically become an arms race, and unless you have a stadium that fits the bill, you just can't compete.
Well, where's the Super Bowl this year? In Houston, brand new stadium a couple years back. Minnesota's going to host the Super Bowl because they have a new stadium. Would you rather go to Minnesota in February or San Diego?
That's an easy one for me and for most people, I would think. Chargers will be in Minnesota in that brand new state-of-the-art stadium next weekend. This is 3rd and 3. Barkley's pass is caught over the middle. Marker thrown towards the far side of the field. Stephen Taylor, the fourth-year man out of Stanford, former 5th-round pick. A pickup of 7.
They'll be holding against the Chargers, and they'll refuse this. And
Prior
take
to the
play.
pass, holding defense number 23. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, first down.
And Steve Williams on the penalty, so the 7-yard pass play holds. And right now, Matt Barkley moving the Cardinals down the field, maybe better than both Carson Palmer and Drew Stanton did earlier. First down.
Well, he's gotten farther down the field than either Stanton or Palmer. Now at the 33-yard line.
Barkley, the former star quarterback at USC.
False start, number 85, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the tight end, Darren Fells, the man penalized.
Yeah, he's got to be the largest anteater ever. Went to UC Irvine, 6'7", 281. Easy to notice when he moves off sides.
This will be the 8th play of the drive coming up. Fells, 3rd year in the league. Undrafted anteater. Stays on the field on 1st and 15. Barkley goes play action. Underneath, screen pass. This is Shipley. Chargers not fooled, able to dump him at the line of scrimmage. Tackled on the play by Nick DeZubnar, gearing up for his 2nd NFL season.
Yeah, a good special teamer, and he played well last week against Tennessee. Had 6 tackles here, and look how he got inside the block there of Rob Crisp to make that tackle. That's a heck of an effort by Dzubnar.
Dzubnar out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Well, this kid burst on the scene last year at training camp. Undrafted first-year man. Earned the roster spot, and as Dan pointed out, was really their special teams ace. In fact, led them in special teams tackles. That pass falls incomplete, intended for Hubert, the rookie.
Now here's an opportunity on 3rd and long for the Chargers to cut it loose on Matt Barkley. They've gotten close a couple of times, but this is a time if you can get pressure on the quarterback. If you don't get him down, at least you can affect his throw and perhaps get it off target and pick it off.
Getting to the quarterback has been an issue for this defense over the last couple of years. Here they come on 3rd and long. Barkley's pass caught by Shipley, well short of the first down marker, needed the 23. Tackled by their 4th round pick out of Ohio State, Joshua Perry, as they pick up 8. That does get them into field goal range, as Arizona has a chance to get on the board for the first time tonight. Chandler Catanzaro, their 3rd-year kicker, onto the field. This will be a 48-yard attempt. See the Clemson's products numbers from a year ago. Good hold. Has the distance, but Catanzaro misses that 48-yard attempt. Wide left. And San Diego's defense still pitching a shutout. Up 19 on CBS. The Q, 19-0. Chandler Catanzaro missing a 48-yard field goal attempt. Chance for the Cardinals to get on the board as we move under the 4-minute mark in this 3rd quarter. Spiro Ditas, Dan Fouts, Heather Myers, rest of our CBS crew from the Q. Mike Bercovici slotted in tonight as the number 3 quarterback. Phillip Rivers getting the night off. We saw Kellen Clemens in the first half, and now Bercovici, the undrafted rookie free agent out of Arizona State, trying to impress those men. Jamming the board, Deed Spanos to your left, and then right behind that television monitor, Tom Telesco, Chargers general manager, who has been busily working the phones. The report, Dan, is that the communication has begun again between the Chargers and Joey Bosa, the 3rd overall pick out of Ohio State. Very encouraging news, finally, for Chargers fans.
Well, it's been a long time since the two sides have met. How about that job by Bercovici? Totally unblocked defensive back coming from his blind side, ignores him and fires a strike. Picks up a significant gain. Watch the left side of the screen. Good legal shot on the quarterback there. And Dom Williams with another catch. Cariel Brooks coming free. Great effort by Bercovici to get that off and get the completion.
2nd time we've seen Bercovici step up in the face of pressure and really make an NFL caliber throw. Sets up a 3rd and short. Dreamus Smith on now in relief of Brandon Oliver. No Kenneth Farrow, the very impressive undrafted rookie whom we saw last week in Tennessee. He's down tonight with a minor injury, so expect to see a lot of Smith, the undrafted 1st-year man out of West Virginia, the rest of the 2nd half.
Fine tackle that time by former Charger Donald Butler, as he got in, crossed the line to make that tackle.
Drew Kaiser on a punt. Haven't had to call his name much. Chargers able to score on 4 consecutive possessions before their drive stalls here.
And Joshua Perry, late to join the party, will cost the Chargers a 5-yard delay of game penalty. But you expect that in the preseason with all these players and all the different substitutions. That'll just give the coaching staff and head coach Mike McCoy good reason to yell at somebody.
I think you'll hear about that from his coaches tomorrow. Perry, the 4th round pick, actually a collegiate teammate of Joey Bosa's at Ohio State. Of course, young kid who's got a very bright future in front of him. This is Hubert fielding it from inside his own 5. An excellent punt coverage down the field. 56 yards on the punt from Kaiser, as Perry, the man who was late onto the field a moment ago on the tackle. All Chargers, late third quarter. We go downstairs. Say hello again to Heather Myers.
Yeah, Spiro, Dan, thanks. Standing by here with cornerback Jason Verrett. Defense is on fire tonight. What changed in the last 6 days from last week's game?
Well, I mean, Coach spoke on it a lot last week, that we needed to start faster this week, and I got to salute Brandon Mebane, man. He fired us up in the locker room before we came out here, so the defense was able to match that intensity, man. I'm just hyped to see how we played tonight.
On your way to pitching a shutout, that's got to feel great.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. That's what we preach about, is trying to get as many 3 and outs as possible and create turnovers. You know, we was able to get 2 interceptions, so that's a good start for us.
Talk about your week practicing with the Cardinals. Did that help you step up your game working with Larry Fitzgerald?
Definitely, man. Just seeing a veteran receiver like Fitzgerald and Michael Floyd, and being able to even watch film on Patrick Peterson, man, it's a lot of good work. So I was hyped to be able to do that.
Fantastic. Keep up the great work. Looking forward to a great season. All right, cornerback Jason Verrett, one of the best in the league. A lot of guys coming to him for advice on how to step up their games. Dan Spiro?
Emerging star in the NFL, Verrett, first-time Pro Bowler last year. There's Larry Fitzgerald. Impressive looking play by Kerwin Williams a moment ago. 18 yards up the sideline to set the Cardinals up with a 1st and 10. But if this defense, Dan, is going to bounce back, Verrett's going to have to continue his ascension, especially as this San Diego secondary turns the page following the departure of Eric Weddle, as Barkley's pass falls incomplete. And now marker thrown.
Illegal use of hands. Number 6. Penalty. First down.
Dan, I guess they couldn't find Carl Cheffers a microphone at halftime. Still having some audio difficulties.
Yeah, batteries would help, maybe.
Jason Verrett, rest of the defensive starters, spectators, after playing a couple of series earlier in the game. So 1st and 20 after the penalty. This is Matt Barkley, 3rd Cardinals quarterback we've seen tonight. Barkley, the 4th-year man now. Kerwin Williams, minimal pickup of maybe a yard. As that clock continues to run, final 33 seconds in this 3rd quarter.
And the play clock is about 1 second ahead, so the Cardinals are going to have to run a play here on 2nd down and long.
Told you earlier, Barkley in that battle for the number 3 quarterback spot behind Palmer and Stanton. I do expect to see Jake Coker, the undrafted rookie out of Alabama, for Arizona later in the 4th quarter. Barkley on 2nd and 19. Has a man, but that pass just wasn't even close. And that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Chris Hubert, a rookie out of Fayetteville State, the intended target. Josh Lambo and his Chargers defense have been the stories. San Diego up in front of Arizona 19-0 as we head to the 4th. Time now for tonight's drive of the game, presented by your San Diego Ford dealers. This was early Brandon Flowers, who did not have a pick all of last season for the Chargers. 25 yards on the pick 6 return. That would be the first of 2 interceptions. Jaleel Adai had a 61-yard return that set up a Josh Lambo field goal later in the 1st half. 3rd and 19, nowhere for Barkley to throw down the field as he runs for 7. Nick DeZubnar was there and will be credited for the tackle.
Spiro, to give you an idea how good the Charger defense has been, or how inept the Cardinal offense has been, that's 5 times tonight now that the Cardinals have faced a 3rd and 10 or longer.
This has been their night. All the talk about the struggles of this Chargers defense. Last year, 21st in the league in points allowed as a penalty marker is thrown right in front of where Isaiah Burse was brought down. 51 yards on the punt and 15
Holding
on the return.
Number 42, return team. 10-yard penalty, timeout.
Culprit, Trevor Williams, one of the backup corners for Mike McCoy. Chargers send their offense back onto the field when we come back. Whisenhunt back with the Chargers as their offensive coordinator. He has twice been an NFL head coach, and seeing his former team for a second consecutive preseason week. Last year, of course, fired by Tennessee, but what a marvelous 6-year run he had, as this is Don Williams down by contact. Incredible 6-year stints as the Cardinals head coach. Led them to a then franchise best 12 wins and a Super Bowl appearance after that 08 season.
And Bruce Arians really benefited too in his first year taking over for Whisenhunt. A lot of this great talent that Whisenhunt and the Cardinal front office had gathered, Arians has taken advantage of it.
14 yards on the pass play sets up a 1st and 10, and there is real excitement in terms of what Whisenhunt can bring back to this Chargers offense. Last year, league worst, 3.5 yards per rush, and that's one thing Whisenhunt says that's right at the top of his list, revamping this running game and just finding some more balance for Phillip Rivers in this offense.
Well, and we talked about the big left guard Orlando Franklin playing tonight for the first time with this preseason with King Dunlap. That's that continuity you need on that offensive line to get the running game going, regardless of who's carrying it.
This is Bercovici getting his biggest opportunity yet so far in the preseason. That pass is complete right over the middle. It's a 7-yard pickup. And DeAndre Reeves, the undrafted rookie out of Marshall, with his first catch of the preseason.
Oh, Bercovici taking advantage of this opportunity. He's now 5 of 8 for 69 yards. His first 3 completions were all for first downs on 3rd down. So that just shows you the type of competitor he is as he tries to draw the defense off sides, and he'll get penalized for this move.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Now, one thing,
simulating the snap by pushing his hands forward there, tried to draw the Cardinals off sides, but Carl Cheffers was not having any of it. He throws the flag.
now Mike McCoy the last couple of years has kept only 2 quarterbacks on his active roster. But it still says that that decision has not been made yet. May elect to take 3. And if that's going to happen, this night for Bercovici will go a long way in factoring into McCoy's decision. Bercovici, the first quarterback to get a chance as a backup tonight. Both Phillip Rivers, Kellen Clemens made the start. Dom Williams is there, makes the catch, 15 yards, and another San Diego first down.
And ball placement is so important. That time, the defender, Trevin Hartfield, had Williams covered to the outside. Bercovici threw it to the inside beautifully. And watch the coverage, good coverage, but watch where the ball's placed. Away from the defender, up the field, and it's a first down for San Diego.
Bercovici, called the gym rat by Mike McCoy, really praised the kid's aptitude, his ability to absorb the playbook. Where does Bercovici go here? Dealing on 1st and 10. That pass is caught. Terrence Allen, 2nd-year wideout out of West Texas A&M, a 25-year-old with a pickup of 7.
Yeah, he's getting into the act, and another strong throw by Bercovici. Looking there against Harlan Miller. Good catch that time by Allen.
So Bercovici now has completed his last 5 attempts. You see Allen's book. Sets up a favorable 2nd and short. This is a false start penalty.
False start, number 60, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Yeah, the Chargers' leading rusher last week against the Titans with Kenneth Farrow, and he was given the night off. He had 16 rushes last week for 60 yards, a couple of catches for 25. Mike McCoy felt he was a little bit sore after that game. It's a short turnaround, just 6 days from that Tennessee game. So Farrow, who was very impressive last week, will play more in the future.
2nd and 8. Bercovici from the gun over the middle, completes. As they go underneath, they pick up about 3. Pass caught by Matt Weiser. And that clock continues to run now with San Diego in front, 19-0. Dan, what have you seen from Bercovici?
Well, this drive, he's been really hot. In the previous drive, he was hot on 3rd down, which is a sign of a guy that he's got a little bit of that gym rat. Likes to play the game. You can see the enthusiasm he has and the competitiveness.
He's 8 of 11 so far. Here he is on 3rd and 5, showing some of his mobility. Nowhere to throw the football down the field, so the kid doesn't take a chance.
Yeah, of his 4 incompletions, that one worked out of bounds. This first one was blocked. So he's getting the ball down the field and not just settling for, the easy dump offs.
You see what Kaiser has done. Had a beautifully placed punt earlier. That's pinned the Cardinals back inside their own 5. He was awarded the job a week ago this last Monday by Mike McCoy after what has been a stellar season for the kid that they took with the 6th round pick in the last NFL draft. 55 yards on the punt from Kaiser. All Chargers tonight in front, 19-0. This chance for these Chargers fans to catch a glimpse of their bolts here at the Q. This is the home regular season schedule. They'll open the 2016 campaign at Kansas City, and then here at home the following week against a Jacksonville team, Dan, that a lot of people are predicting to take that next step forward in the AFC.
And then Drew Brees comes to town, the world champs, the next home game. Very attractive home schedule for San Diego.
Matt Barkley back onto the field. That high pass is caught. It's Ifani Moma, the 2nd-year tight end out of Boston College. 15 yards and a first down. Of course, saw the Raiders on that schedule. Dan, you buying the Raiders? All the talk that Oakland under Jack Del Rio has the pieces to finally move forward as well.
Well, it's hard to tell so far in the preseason. They were impressive beating the Cardinals, but less than impressive against Green Bay. So we'll see next week where they play Tennessee. We'll be there with CBS. Greg Gumbel and me will carry that game nationally. So we get a better look. It's that all-important 3rd game of the preseason, Spiro, as you know, where most of the starters will play a significant amount of the time and then take the 4th week of the preseason off. And when will we ever pare down this preseason? Back in the day, my friend, when we played 14 regular season games, they filled up the 20-game schedule with 6 preseason games.
I can't even imagine it, Dan. My goodness.
I tried to imagine it. I had to live through it.
Well, that conversation has been ignited again. You'll recall the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, a couple of years ago said that that was something that they had really started to prioritize, cutting the preseason down to 2 games. And with all of these star players and first stringers being held out by coaches around the league, that conversation has been reignited. Gerald Christian, the tight end, makes the catch.
It always comes down to dollars, okay? But the revenue that they would lose with these preseason games, they could gain by jacking up the prices for the playoffs or increasing the number of playoff games. But nothing will happen until the next television contract.
Also talk about maybe expanding the regular season, which
that'll never happen.
Most players have, of course, been against. So much attrition during the course of an NFL regular season as Elijah Penny, the undrafted rookie out of Idaho, picks up 4.
Well, and the other part of that equation, Spiro, as you know, is that obviously the Player Association is not going to go for it, but there's been such an emphasis on player safety. And if you were to add 2 more games and then playoffs after that for the lucky teams that make it to the playoffs, you're going to have a lot of players on the IR at the end of the year. And the Players Association so adamant, and the NFL's kind of painted themselves in a corner on that by emphasizing safety, and that's the right thing to do.
This is 2nd and 6. Barkley, almost a little bit too much trickeration for their own good. Elijah Penny caught it, but loses 4 on the play. James Ross, one of the undrafted rookies out of Michigan, was there for San Diego.
He had a shot at an interception here too. Ball was on target, but right on the back of the receiver was Ross. Barkley with an ill-advised throw there to lose a couple of yards.
Well, Ross, one of the number of Chargers trying to make a name for himself. That first roster cut down comes up later this month, about 11 days away. It'll be August the 30th when NFL teams have to pare down their rosters to 75 players. Barkley slinging it over the middle, and that is caught. Down to the 36-yard line to the tight end, Moma, as they pick up 16 yards and a first down.
Yeah, that was the best throw of the night for the former USC Trojan. Barkley stepping up and really firing that ball over the middle to Moma, picking up that first down. Moma's a big target, 6'7", 248. Runs well, too.
Barkley under center. Keep it on the ground. This is Penny. Well, Barkley, born in Newport, about an hour plus north of where we are here in San Diego. Such a highly touted collegiate career. Started as a high school player at Mater Dei in Santa Ana, that football powerhouse, but just has not had the kind of professional career he was hoping for 4 years into the NFL.
Well, I'm not sure being drafted by the Eagles was good for him, because that offense of Chip Kelly's is not really designed for a pocket quarterback. And Barkley struggled with it, and now he's trying to hang on here with the Cardinals.
Barkley takes a chance, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for Shipley. It'll be 3rd and 8. We saw Carson Palmer for 2 offensive series. Picked by Brandon Flowers, who ran it back 25 yards for 6. And then Drew Stanton unable to lead Arizona onto the scoreboard. And Cardinals fans just haven't had much to cheer about tonight, as we hit the 5-minute mark left in this 4th quarter. Barkley from the gun on 3rd and 8. That pass popped up in the air and was nearly picked. James Ross among the defenders who were there.
Adrian McDonald with a big hit on the receiver. Ball almost picked off, but watch this hit. Right on the ball. Knocked it away from Marquise Bundy. Bundy with a good route here. Ball thrown right on target, but that hit right on the ball as the ball arrived. Great timing.
Here's Chandler Catanzaro, who missed earlier. 2nd attempt of the night. This one is on target, and it is good. So finally the Cardinals get on the board. 52-yard connection by Catanzaro, the 3rd-year kicker out of Clemson. 19-3, Chargers in front. San Diego in front of the Arizona Cardinals, the defending division champs in the NFC West. Spiro Ditas, Dan Fouts, Heather Myers, our producer Jason Bott, director Tom Sutersky. Our spotter up here in the booth tonight, Rich Gaynor, and the great Pat McGrath, our statistician, Dan. Pat making an appearance.
Yeah, it kind of coincides with Del Mar, doesn't it?
Funny how he picked a certain weekend to come into San Diego. Nice to have Pat with us.
Makes him a Hall of Famer.
Good looking kick. This is DeAndre Reeves, one of the backup wide receivers, spinning his way across the 20 after a nifty return of 20 yards. Young fans having a good old time here in San Diego tonight. Stay with us. Mike McCoy discussing things with his staff. 19-3, Chargers trying to get their first preseason win here in 2016. Well, for those of you watching tonight's game in San Diego, a special post-game edition of CBS News 8 airs immediately following the Chargers and the Cardinals. Happy to have you with us on this beautiful San Diego night. It's Dreamus Smith barely able to get past the line of scrimmage. They'll give him a yard on the play. One of the big stories tonight, Mike Bercovici, the backup after Kellen Clemens made the start. And Bercovici, after a couple of hiccups, has had a pretty solid night. to kind of coincide and justify, Dan, what he's done so far in this camp.
Yeah, 8 out of 12 for 93 yards and moved the Chargers down the field, got a field goal from Lambeau, but has competed well and has produced and appears to give the offense a lot of confidence.
Cardinals, a team that certainly likes to blitz. There's that running play to Smith blown up. Ford barely had a chance to take off. Bercovici, undrafted out of Arizona State, 23 years of age. The other thing we asked McCoy about, this kid and what kind of player he is, and he says the thing that has impressed him, or one of the things, has been that he asks smart questions, Dan, at the right time in the meetings. And for a coach of Mike McCoy's kind of intelligence, that's really impressed him.
Well, Mike is a former quarterback, so for a rookie to even talk at all during meetings is amazing, even when they're asked the questions.
The pass is caught, but over the middle, that's DeAndre Reeves. McCoy says that Bercovici has kind of attached himself at the hip of Phillip Rivers. Pretty wise move, as that completion is good for 16 yards.
He can learn so much from Phillip, just watching Phillip play, but also in the meetings when a veteran quarterback can just say a couple of little things, like just watch the safety as he rotates when we go in motion or something. Those little type of keys will help the quarterback, like a Bercovici, before the ball's even snapped.
It's a pretty good room to be in as a first-year NFL quarterback. You've got Phillip Rivers, Mike McCoy, who I'm sure ducks his head in from time to time, and Ken Whisenhunt, two-time NFL coach, who has had so much success in his career as an offensive coordinator.
And then you got Kellen Clemens, who watches the game from a different perspective from the sideline. And from that point, he sees things differently than even the starting quarterback from the pocket sees. A lot of information there.
19-3, Chargers in front. Summer night, it's okay for the youngsters to be out a little later than normal. A lot of smiles here at the Q as they catch their first glimpse of the Chargers here in this 2016 preseason. Mike Bercovici on in relief of Kellen Clemens. We have not seen Zach Mettenberger, who last week was the third quarterback on the field in Tennessee. Struggled. Has not really had an impressive camp by all accounts till this point. So Mike McCoy making the decision this week with his coaches to give Bercovici a chance as the backup. And so far, Bercovici has performed.
And that's the big thing that McCoy talked about, is he'll play as long as I feel good about how he's playing. And he's got to be very pleased with how the rookie has played so far. And he'll take this game on down to 0-0 on the clock. And the Chargers will get out of here with a bounce-back win, if you will.
And even if it was not to work out for a kid like Bercovici here, I'm not sure if McCoy will carry 2 or 3 quarterbacks, but you're always auditioning for other teams in the NFL in the preseason. Scouts here from 9 different teams. Also a couple of CFL teams are represented here tonight. And so this is really the first extensive look that we've had on Bercovici. That's Dreamus Smith, a pickup of 7 and a San Diego first down. And that should take us to the 2-minute warning, with the Chargers well on their way to their first preseason victory. 19-3, Chargers in front of the Arizona Cardinals. Back to the Q for the final 2 minutes when we come back. The Q, good-looking preseason crowd, 19-3. They lead the Arizona Cardinals. Spiro Dedes, Dan Fouts, Heather Myers, final 2 minutes. And the Chargers will take a couple of knees here and take down this clock as far down as they can go. Dan, biggest takeaways. Obviously, you never want to put too much stock into the final score of these preseason games. What did you like? What didn't you like?
Well, let's start with what I didn't like. I didn't like the way the offense couldn't get in the end zone, number one, settling for 4 field goals. But I did like the way they kept drives alive. They were 8 of 16 on third down conversion attempts tonight, and that's excellent. 50% is just, out of this world. And you got to give Bercovici a lot of credit for that, especially in the second half. So, not getting in the end zone and was negative, but the ability to keep drives alive, and of course, kind of burying the lead here with the 3 points given up by the Charger defense. Outstanding defense for John Pagano's group tonight.
Well, 2 picks produced by the San Diego defense. First one by Brandon Flowers, who returned to 25 yards for the pick 6. And then Jaleel Adai, from whom so much is expected this season, one of Mike McCoy's starting safeties, returned his pick 61 yards to set the stage for one of Josh Lambo's 4 field goals made in this game. One more knee taken by Bercovici, and that will do it. Chargers will take their preseason record to 1-1. A couple of close buddies, Mike McCoy and Bruce Arians. Arians, of course, hospitalized here in San Diego on Tuesday night. As the Chargers win it 19-3, and we go downstairs to Heather Myers.
Dan Spiro, thanks. Standing by here with Brandon Flowers. What an incredible game. You make that interception. What's going through your mind?
Oh, man, it was a bubble screen. I just had to react. Quick reaction, made a play. I just tried to get things starting off fast, I think our defense came out, played with a lot of energy. I was trying to feed with it.
What was said to you in the locker room before tonight's game? I heard that you guys were pumped up for this game.
Oh, yeah, Brandon Maven, he came up with a great speech. We had the music going when he made his speech. It was like a concert before we came out, so we came out with a lot of energy. We needed it.
Can I ask you what was said during his speech? Can you give us a little hint?
Basically, just come out here and play like we practice, play with our swag, just have fun on the field, and that's what we did.
Talk about practicing with the Cardinals this week and how that improved your game.
Just going against great receivers like Larry Fitzgerald, he sharpens your technique. He's a technician on the field. He did nothing but got me better this week, so I loved it.
One of the things that you mentioned during the offseason is that you were disappointed with your performance last season, and you worked extra hard to make sure that this would be a successful season. You're off to a great start.
Oh, definitely. I'm just trying to keep it going. Last year was unacceptable, and I'm trying to just keep pushing one game at a time this year.
What a difference from last week's defensive game to this week's defensive game. What do you attribute to the sudden success?
I just think we just trusted each other on the field. We got out of our gaps last week. We were trying to do too much. We just trusted each other on the field, and we just made it happen as a defense.
How do you keep this momentum going now?
Oh, man, just to start from practice. Next week, get this game behind us and get ready for Minnesota.
All right, fantastic. Brandon Flowers with the interception of the game, the lone touchdown. The Chargers defense off to a solid start. Coming off a game from last week. We got Jason Verrett coming in here. Hey! Guys, come here. Jason, come on in. All right. Come on. All right. All of a sudden, they got a little camera shy on me. Dan Spiro, get back upstairs to you.
Heather, we give you an A for effort. It was worth a try. The Pro Bowler Jason Verrett, and that defense has to be very encouraged, Dan, with what they saw. How impressed were you with what we saw from John Pagano's unit?
It's great to see the smiles again. Remember what Antonio Gates said earlier in the game to Heather? He said the Chargers want to just go out and have some fun, and I think they did tonight. They played, as all the players were talking about, with a lot more higher tempo, more intensity. And, you go back to that interception by Flowers. Here Carson Palmer is 3 feet or 4 feet away from him. Flowers running full speed looking for a sack and makes an incredible catch, bobbles the ball slightly, and then got just brushed by Palmer to get in the end zone. The only touchdown of the game for the Chargers, but it was a beauty.
Well, this night, the culmination of a long week. You see kind of extended pleasantries between the two teams. They had the 2 joint practices. One was public here at the Q on Tuesday, and then the private workout at Chargers Park on Wednesday. As both of these teams now halfway through the preseason schedule. Before we go off the air, we want to update you on the situation surrounding the Chargers intern, Jerron Irby, who was the victim of just a very unfortunate hit and run about a week before the start of training camp. He has been hospitalized for the last couple of weeks here in San Diego. And let's get more now on his condition as we go back down to Heather.
Yeah, Dan Spiro, that happened on August 5th in Pacific Beach when Jerron Irby, only 23 years old, was crossing the street and hit by a driver who never even hit the brakes. Unfortunately, Jerron suffered a brain fracture, in fact, in 3 different places on his skull, and of course, a severe brain injury. He remains sedated in a local hospital. His family, believe it or not, his parents came out to tonight's game. I talked to his mother earlier. She said she just needed a breath of fresh air for a moment. She came out to the first half of tonight's game. She also informed me that she and her husband are from Northern California. They're down here at their son's bedside. And of course, leaving their jobs, they're not getting a paycheck right now. You can help this family by going to Jerron Irby's GoFundMe page and donating if you can to help this young man with what a bright future out here getting the dream internship for the San Diego Chargers. I had a chance to work alongside him a couple of times, of course, before this tragic accident. What a hard-working kid. We're wishing him all the best. But at this point, his mother, when I spoke to her earlier, said he had a minor setback. He had to be put under quite a bit of sedation again. They're hoping that by the next 3 or 4 days, they can start to back off that and see if he's responsive at all. Dan, Spiro?
All right, Heather, thanks. Irby, a former defensive back collegiately at Wayne State, Michigan. By all accounts, just an incredible kid. We put up that GoFundMe page during the telecast last week. They got a real good bump in terms of money that was contributed. We thank everyone that was able to contribute a couple of bucks for that family through some very trying couple of weeks.
Well, as Heather was talking about, both Lee and Trina Irby are having to pay for their hotels, their transportation down here. So those bills add up, and every dollar counts to help the family, not only financially, but to ease the mental burden on the family. So continue to contribute to this worthy cause.
Chargers chairman Dean Spanos and the entire Spanos family has also put up a lot of money to help put them up here in San Diego so they could be at Jerron's bedside in that local hospital here, and we wish him all the best. All right, for those of you watching on the Chargers Network, you'll be leaving us now to return to your local stations, and those of you on CBS 8 here in San Diego, our post-game coverage is coming up next. Again, the final, Chargers 19, Cardinals 3. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks.